Hello and welcome to the new season of the Xpert 11 Road to Glory series. If you're new to this series and only just joining in, this is a series where I try to take an average Division 7 level team, so really bad, up to the top flight in the Ultimate League. This is being done on the online football management game Xpert 11, of which you can find a description in the link below, and I must say it's a pretty sweet game, or at least I like it anyway. Anyway, this is our 4th season of the series, and it'll be our first in Division 5, so let's give you an update on what has happened since the end of the last series. Following the retirement of Gavril Gorga, one of our priorities this pre-season was to get a new free kick taker, and we managed to get one. Meet Enver Nesim, signed from fellow Ultimate League side the Beautiful Ones, who were recently relegated from Division 5, although they did manage to stay up in Division 5 in the end, due to the league restructuring. At 37 years old, he's the same age as Gavril Gorga would have been this season. However, that means he hasn't really got long left for us and won't last very long. But he'll do as a nice stopgap for now, and he only costs less than 200,000 econ. In order to free up some funds for the new season, we had to sell off a player, so I decided to sell off Emil Silka. Despite being a promising young defender, he had been signed to be our future free kick taker, but I decided we could do better than Silka, so I transferred this to him as a 19.6, and he managed to sell for about 4 million or so, maybe even 5 million. I'd given up on getting a new free kick taker for this off season, and was going to put it off to a later season. However, a last minute change of heart saw me transfer this Sergio Calamasas 21.8 in favour of raising money to get a new free kick taker. I decided that Calamasas wouldn't eventually bring much to the squad in the long term. The money would then be put towards a new free kick taker, while still allowing us enough money to train our young squad for the new season. So it's with sad regret that our Youth Academy project, who had a custom name in Sergio Calamasas, has to be moved on. I know people will think that I was a bit foolish in promoting him in the first place, given his original skill path. However, keeping him around hasn't done too badly. He's been an important part of both our promotion winning squads so far, and now that he's double jumped and is on a decent skill path on the 17-4 at least, I decided to cash in on him, and it seems to be a worthy decision. Now I know what you're thinking, this isn't what the Knights squad looked like last season, is it? Well, I wanted to show just how far we've come since we started this series back in Season 29 of the Ultimate League. In Season 29, our squad looked like this. This is what the squad looked like, and we've gone from that to this, which all around is a squad that looks like a much better team and a better balance and a clear first choice of team players on here. As you can see, we've now got a good base of defence here, with Aquila Santa Maria and Pim van der Kruis developing well. Alvito Roma and Raymond Hargreaves provide some extra depth in midfield compared to our other oldies that we have here, and Celso Mota is looking like a fine young striker at the moment, at just 20 years old. We also have a few new additions to the team, as you can see, the likes of Ibrahim Qamara, Enver Nesim and Eustace Chapple. Right then, it's time to take a step into the brave new world of Division 5 and find out who our opposition are for this upcoming season. As you can see, our opponents this season are completely new to us in Division 5. We haven't played any of these guys apart from the King Punks before in a competitive match, so it's an all new learning ground to try and find out who these guys are. So, let's try to meet these new teams. Just who are these new teams? First up are Harlow Heroes, managed by Tynecastle Warrior. They went through an entire league season in Division 6 last season, winning every single game, so that's all 14 games that they managed to win en route to the Division 6 39 title. An impressive achievement for sure. They do have the oldest squad in the division with an average age of 29, but as you can see, it is a very strong team at 10 bars. They have strength and depth, and Sangpen Jagger will be their goalkeeper at just 25 years old. It's an impressively young goalkeeper with 25-10 skill. Meanwhile, their defence, they'll be relying on Luis Paul Owona to be their man at the back that will stop chances for the opposing teams. Meanwhile, their star man Nathan Kabic is set to retire at the end of the season, but he's a 14 skill midfielder, which is a massive threat to us. As too is Soto Sakamai at 29 years old and 12 skill. They have a very strong team here, and it's going to be very difficult to beat them when they can field an entire starting 11 with no players less than 10 skill. Secondly, we have Old Lovecraftians, managed by D2K Virus. Like Harlow Heroes, they got promoted to this division by winning their division title. They are only 9 bars in skill, but that's mainly due to some very poor players taking up squad space. They have the second best goalkeeper in the division in 34-year-old Chesley Skelton, and worryingly, his backup Ron Moss is an 11 skill keeper, which is only one behind Geo Dihor. Meanwhile, they have some other very strong players like Bruce Ablett in defence, while meanwhile in midfield, Kingsley Oaks and Giles Painter will provide the main threat in midfield. However, their best players are very old, especially for Ben Buckley, whose SQ combination can be very troublesome for opponents this season, combined with his strength. These are youth that's coming on very well for them. The third team in this division are Rayo, managed by G Wilds 1 from Sheffield. Like Knights, they also got promoted via the playoffs to move up into Division 5 from Division 6. They finished runners-up to Old Lovecraftians last season. Yes, that's right, half the teams in this division have been promoted from Division 6 to Division 5. Rayo have been the busiest in the transfer market so far, and two of the players that you see here aren't actually at the club anymore. Those players are Dwayne Greenwood and Neil Guff. With the players left, that means they have a very strong squad there. As you can see by the fact their entire defence is all at least 11 bars, they can be very difficult to break down for sure. Their midfield's not too shabby either. And meanwhile, they have the same sort of depth in goalkeeping departments as Old Lovecraftians had, with a 12 and 10 skilled keeper, with Austin Elliott likely to probably to start more games as the younger keeper, but Dirk Mango cannot be taken for granted. Our fourth opponent is St Mirren. St Mirren are actually very lucky to still be in Division 5 as they were actually relegated from the division last season. However, due to a restructure, they managed to remain in Division 5, which is probably bad news as they have a very strong squad. Starting to see a trend here, a lot of 10-bar squads in this division. Mirren's strength appears to be in their striking options, with Joanne Slater, Cal Myhill and Unal Given providing plenty of options up front. However, they have a very old midfield, with Tomaso Di Quattaro announcing his retirement, and Ruggiero Santieri and Evan Lee are both over 30 years old, although that said, Evan Lee is a new signing for them this season. They will need to keep Feliciano Tadai fit this season, as he significantly increases the strength of their defence. Fifth on the list is Watersham's Taunton Town FC, one of the more active members in this division. He is likely to be challenging towards the top, and twice he has narrowly missed out on getting a playoff spot on the final day of the season. These guys will be contenders for the top of the league, no doubt. Looking at their squad, it's easy to see why they're among the favourites. Leighton Bashford is 27 years old and has the same skill as Geo Dihor, so he'll be in his prime and performing at his very best. In midfield, Dietrich Voigt and Theodore Stoiber are both in their prime, while they have a top talent coming through in Geroid Culligan. And another one for that matter in Sebastian Parfit. Good strength for that midfield for that future of the club. Oh hello again, I recognise these guys. They've got a slightly different kit colour this season. They seem to change the kit colour every season. But nevertheless, it's the King Punks. You remember these guys from season 30 when they won the title and absolutely annihilated us on both fronts? Me too, and I'm not particularly looking forward to having to face them again, with a squad value of about 95 million econ. Their squad looks quite a bit different from the last time we met them. As you can see, Freddie Wincup has now retired from the team, added Srijan Lijovic, or however you pronounce that guy's name, but he was already set to retire during the last season and wasn't ever played. So, as you can see for now, Charlie Sanders and Amancio Guerrero have both gained skill bars and are now 14 skilled players, and I think they're one of the best players in the divisions now. The only players I can see in the squad who weren't there before are Gary Anwill and Ashley Cruikshank. Otherwise, everyone who was there before is there now, apart from Freddie Wincup and Srijan Lijovic. Peter Falconer provides a strong fourth option in defence, which means they could end up going for a 4-4-2 formation, or they might end up sticking without Peter Falconer and going with a successful 3-5-2 formation that they employed in their championship winning season 2 seasons back. They've since established themselves in Division 5, managing to successfully stay up. You may be able to see a similar pattern in this division. All the teams in this division are around 10 bars and have multiple players of at least 10 skill, sometimes stretching up to 14 skill. We are significantly outclassed by our opposition in this division, and you know what? None of those teams are even the favourites for promotion. And this is why these are the pre-season favourites in this division. These are the outcasts. They are an 11 bar squad with a squad value of over 150 million econ, and to top it all off, they have one of the top 500 managers in the world. Suffice to say, we are practically doomed against this lot. Now, Francis Lima from this squad was sold before pre-season and after this screenshot was taken, but that doesn't discount the fact they have loads and loads of quality options. Young Julian Carlos Ramon, 12 skill, is 24 years old. They have a very powerful midfield with the midfield trio of Klaus Carlson, Marshall Ware and Humberto Berrios, likely to cause all sorts of damage this season, and to top it all off, they have a strong set of two defenders in Nicholas Collymore and Aurelio Preto. The team is oozing with talent in all departments to be very difficult to stop in the coming seasons, and this was all hand built by the manager himself, and a similar thing to what we are trying to do at the moment. However, our league season does not start with a league game, but with a cup game instead. Let's take a look at who our first round cup opponents are in the Ultimate League Cup this season. Introducing Division 7's 1-2-3 side States Nice, managed by Mary123. As you see, they are very horribly weak at the moment and unlikely to propose much of a threat to us. But you can only play what's put in front of you, so join us next time on the Xpert 11 Road to Glory series, where we'll be playing States Nice in the first competitive match of the season. See you then!